As the winter days get cooler and we spend more time indoors, you tend to start thinking about your health. You see, the air we breathe inside our house is actually very impure. It's full of things like VOCs, volatile organic compounds. Now, some of these can be carcinogenic and you just don't want to be breathing them in. Now, the way to get them out, well, you could open the door and let the cold air in, but that kind of defeats the purpose of shutting it in the first place. There is one other option, one that we should all be doing more of, and that's growing indoor plants, because they will take them out of the air and they'll inject it with fresh oxygen, which is good for the mind, good for the body, and good for the soul. Indoor plants are known to remove VOCs and freshen stale air up through their ability to draw in and release oxygen out. And whilst the best of these plants is without doubt the large foliage varieties, especially dark green foliage, you can add one more element to a healthy environment and achieve the same positive quality air outcomes. You just have to add flowering indoor plants, especially orchids, like the stunning Phalaenopsis or moth orchids. So I brought you into one of the country's leading plant growers, and it all starts with healthy little plugs just like this. What Richard Dekkers doesn't know about these amazing orchids isn't worth knowing. The Phalaenopsis orchids have got all sorts of mysteries attached to them, but they're not a hard orchid to grow, are they? They're treated quite differently, though, to, say, traditional cymbidiums.
Yeah, that's correct. So we can manipulate Phalaenopsis orchids. So we grow them from tissue culture.
Right.
We spend about 12 to 15 months growing them. We put them in through a cooling area, which is under 20 degrees.
Yep.
And then we bring them back out to the warm area to flower them. We're telling the orchid it's winter.
Yep.
And we can do that all year round.
There are a lot of other things that people don't know. They buy them, it finishes flowering. What do they do with their plant then?
So with an orchid, you can actually cut the orchid on one of its nodes, which is just there.
Yep.
9 out of 10 times you'll actually get another flower stem from there.
Right.
If that does not occur, just cut the stem back into the base, as low as you can. June, July, put it under your patio. Don't water it. Make sure it's not in the rain and frost.
Yep.
That'll give it a cooling period it needs, and it'll reflower for you again, moving into spring, October, November.
Great tip. Now, what about watering? Too much, too less?
Watering, we actually look at the root system. So the root system's nice and green here, which means it's full of water. If that was a really bland, grey-looking, dry look, we need to give it a drink. And overwatering, these guys will turn orange, which basically means it's starting to rot.
Now, the other thing about them is obviously feeding. So when you're talking about a flowering plant, you don't want to be feeding a high nitrogen fertiliser.
No, a high potassium fertiliser. Anything like that, which promotes flower and keeps it going as long as
anything with a high K number, that's what you should be looking for.
That's correct, yep.
I mentioned there's another benefit to having these plants indoors, other than just air quality. You see, they are truly beautiful. They come in a wide range of colours. And if you need a lift, want to feel better and be healthier, then this is what you need to look out for when you visit your local garden centre next time.